Back to code with Gabriel section, and in this modules we are going to be talking about an introduction to JavaScript. So at first I want to discuss what is JavaScript. JavaScript is a programming language of the web. It is actually used or normally used among web developers to add additional program functionalities to a web page. Why do you need JavaScript? You need JavaScript when you actually want to call from an event, you want to validate user form inputs, anything that user actually enter into the form, you want to validate them, you need JavaScript. You also need JavaScript in order to program the programming structure of your website. So how page behave, or how a particular box or element behave, you want to do that when you want to have a dynamic web page. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So the first thing I actually have in front of me is Chrome browser open up right here. You want to have that already running. The second thing you want to do is just want to create a folder. As you can see, I create a folder named JS and the folder is empty for now. So this is where we are going to be working now. I'm just going to go ahead and open this folder with a Visual Studio Code. So I believe you normally have a very introductory knowledge about HTML and CSS before you actually want to dive right into this introduction to JavaScript. It is advisable for you to check these my free course modules I've created on HTML. You can check on it on my YouTube page. The first thing we are going to do inside this file, we are going to create two things, which is the first one, which is going to be our index.html file. So this is our index page, which is the page that is going to load first as soon as we try to open the website inside the browser. The second thing we are going to be creating is a folder which is going to name JS, and looking at this arrow here, it means it is closed right now. If I click on it, it comes down, shows it's now open, so I can now go ahead and click on the new file. Right inside here we are going to create our JavaScript file, so we'll call it script.js. So let's go ahead and start this section. The first thing we actually want to do is to create an HTML5. So that's just the shortcut to do that. And here I can name it let me just name it hello world. So this is going to be our hello world page in JavaScript. So, and right here we are just going to throw a message that say welcome to JS, like that. So the first thing to do before we can actually use a JavaScript in our HTML page, we need to link the script into the HTML folder or file, HTML file. So we can actually do that by putting it in the head, or we do that by putting it right on the foot on the bottom before we get to the ending of the HTML tag. So the JavaScript you actually put on the head is going to execute before the page actually load. So most of the time you see some of developer wrapping up their link to JavaScript in the head than they do to the footer. So let's just go ahead and link our JavaScript in the head. So we're going to write scripts, and we need to actually give the source where the script you are linking to is actually residing. So we have the source to go inside the JavaScript folder, then go ahead and select scripts.js, like that. So we need to actually tell this the type of the scripts that we are actually expecting from here. So we say it's going to contain a text, and at the same time it's going to contain a JavaScript. Then we close it up. We close it up by adding the closing tag, like that. So this is just the format on how to actually link a JavaScript file into your HTML file. Now that we have linked, let's go ahead and actually greet our user whenever they actually go ahead and log in into our web page and say hello world to them. So on this page we are just going to add the unload. So the unload is actually an event which says, okay, when the page actually load, go ahead and perform a particular function. So the function is going to just do is say hello. So just notice just a syntax for actually going ahead to tell your user hello. So don't worry if you don't understand about this during the tutorial, or as we continue you are going to understand more about the event and the function that is actually calling right here. So this is our script file. Let's go ahead and just create a function. So we can go by using the function name, the function like this, then followed by the name, say hello, and followed by the execution tag, so the curly parentheses. So this is simple. So the function is actually a declaration that we are about to create a function. Then the say hello is the name of our function, followed by parentheses. So the parentheses is just a kind of a container for our argument and parameter. Don't worry if you don't understand this now, you are going to understand more as we move on in this tutorial. So followed by the execution brackets, the curly bracket, then we close the curly bracket here, which shows that this is the end of our function. So right here, what we want to do, we just want to alert into the web page and say hello world. So that's all we just want to do. So the syntax is very simple. The first thing we do, we create the two files that we needed. Then we'll go ahead and link into the page. Then we actually come here to tell the document, the body tag, that when the page is loaded, to go ahead and call a function that is kept inside this file. And then we go into this file to create a function that we alert the hello world. So the alert the hello world is going to pop up a window box for the user. So right here, I'm just going to copy this part and I'll open my Chrome browser and paste it right there. So let's see what will happen. So as soon as I try to load this page, when it's still loading, you can see still loading right here. We are having a message say this page says hello world. So that's all, guys. In the next section, we are going to be talking about variables and outputs in JavaScript.